Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's Governance Committee meeting. Firstly, I would like to acknowledge today the traditional custodians on the land in which we gather and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to the Governance Committee meeting today, the 14th of May 2024. I declare this meeting open at 10:48. I would also like to advise attendees in the room that this meeting is being webcast and audio recorded. Attendance in the room, we are all here. I believe Councillor Bannon has just popped out, but he'll be straight back with us very shortly. I wish to refer to the previous minutes. I now refer to confirm the previous committee meetings, and I note that we do not have any previous minutes to confirm, being the first one of this term. This is very exciting. Now on to item 5, declaration of conflicts of interest. I now refer to declarations of conflict of interest. Do any councillors wish to declare an interest today? And I believe Mr Mayor needs to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to speak in relation to item 6.2, which is the Beneficial Enterprise Underwood Innovation Lab quarterly report. I've sought advice from the City Solicitor, who says that I do not have a conflict of interest, but just for the benefit of everyone in the room and the audience at home, the owner of the building that UIL lease from I have a prescribed conflict of interest with. If councillors in this discussion start talking about the lease or renegotiating the lease, I'll declare a conflict and pull out. Otherwise, as long as you're discussing the quarterly report and staying within those boundaries, then I have no conflict to declare.
Do any councillors have any questions? Right, we are only receiving a report. It is a confidential report, which is 6.2. However, we'll address that agenda shortly. So thank you, Mr Mayor, for allowing us to know that. Thank you very much. We will move into the late reports. We don't have any. Now we'll go on to the reports that are on today's agenda. Firstly, before we start, we have Kim Bryan down the end there. Thank you for coming. Does anybody have any GB for Kim today? No? I believe you have some for us. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce you to two of our newest members in the People and Engagement Director. To my far right is Chris McMahon. Chris has joined as our manager, Renee's here as manager, as our program leader, external communications, and he's come fresh from the Courier Mail as Chief of Staff. Directly beside me is Justin Grace. Justin has been here a fortnight. It's Chris's second day, and he came as Director Marketing at Marta Foundation and has worked with many large brand names that are very familiar within Southeast Queensland. So you'll both, with your advisors, have lots of interactions. So I just wanted to take this opportunity en masse to introduce them to you quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome. It's only been a week, so what report would you like to present today? No, we'll give you a pass today. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you. Today, councillors, we're just changing the agenda around because we do have some special guests today from the lab waiting outside. So we'll be going into 6.2 first, then go back to 6.1 and then follow on after that. So I note 6.2, Beneficial Enterprise Underwood Innovation Lab quarterly reporting, is a confidential attachment to this report. A proposed resolution of the matter is on the screens. Do any councillors wish to move into a closed session? Thank you, Councillor Bradley. Yes.
Just a procedural question. Are we not getting a public version of it, or we're just going straight into confidential?
I believe we were going straight into confidential. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Councillor Lane.
Yep.
Is that correct? Yes, sorry. So Councillor Bradley has moved the motion to go into confidential. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Jackson has seconded the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hand. That has not been carried unanimously. Can we go down the room for the record, please? Mr Mayor.
4.
4.
Abstain.
I'm just going to abstain, and it's because my preference would be if we were able to have some, what is able to be discussed public if possible.
I'll get Robert to answer that after we go around the room. Is that okay? Thank you. Councillor St George.
For.
Against.
For.
4 for me as well. I think that has been carried. Thank you. We are now in open session and the live streaming has recommenced. There's a motion up on the board to just document the attachment. Sorry, we've just got them around the wrong way. There's a confidential PowerPoint that is presented to the meeting in relation to 6.2 of the City Governance meeting held on the 14th of May 2024 be tabled. Councillor Bannon has moved that motion. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wilcox. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. That has been carried. And secondly, there should be a motion coming up on the board very shortly. Just take a moment. Sorry. This is just for the Beneficial Enterprise Underwood Innovation Lab quarterly reporting for financial year 2023-24, quarter 3, be tabled. Can I have a mover? Councillor Bannon has moved that motion. Is there a seconder? Councillor Russell has seconded that motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the crew for coming today, Dr. Scott, Stefan and Jody for making your way over to Council today, and we'll see you back at Council maybe in June. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, councillors. We have a heavy agenda ahead of us. We've got another 9 reports. So the next one is 6.1, the amendment of calendar of meetings of April to December 2024. I believe our corporate governance manager, Mr. Anita White, is speaking to this report. Over to you, Anita.
Thank you, and through the chair. Councillors, you passed a calendar of meetings at the post-election meeting. Subsequent to that, we had a new appointee to the Audit and Risk Committee, and she was unfortunately unavailable at the proposed June meeting. So the ARC Committee members are hopeful that you will support the movement of the ARC Committee from June to July, so from the 18th of June to the 11th of July. I'm happy to take any questions.
Councillor Bradley.
Happy to move it.
Thank you. Councillor Bradley has moved it. It's just a moving of one date, I believe. Councillor Bannon has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Excellent. That's how it's done. Thank you very, very much. Stay with us, Miss Anita White. I believe you're doing 6.3, which is the Auditor General's Observation Report, Interim Audit, May 2024. Take it over.
Thank you, and through the chair, councillors, this is a report you see at least twice a year. It's when we receive, or the Mayor receives, a report from the Queensland Audit Office, and we're required to present that to council. So that's being presented. I really can't comment on the content of the report, but Robert could make comment if required.
Councillors, is there any question? Councillor Stemp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Are we able to get a copy of the full report that's provided to the CEO? Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. If we could have that circulated, that would be wonderful. Is there any further questions, councillors? Is there a mover for the motion that is up on the board? Councillor Stemp has moved. Councillor Bradley has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Champions. Thank you very much. That has been moved. Does anybody have any general business for the corporate governance manager today? There being none, great. Anita, do you have any for us today?
Not today, thank you.
Excellent. You're free to go. Thank you very much. Councillors, we're moving on to 6.4, and I'm going to ask Marg to come up to the stand. Marg is filling in for Carolyn Bugg today. I believe you've got quite a few reports for us today, but we're going to start with 6.4, which is the corporate procurement amendments to the annual contract plan, April 2024. Marg, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I've brought Michael Becker, our Corporate Procurement Program Leader, to speak to this report with us today.
Thank you. Take it away.
Good morning, Councillor, and through the councillors, I should say, and Mayor and Deputy Mayor, and through the Chair, this is an update to our annual contract plan as part of our move into the strategic contracting principles under Chapter 6, Part 2 of the Local Government Regulation. We're required to adopt an annual contract plan each year. the annual contract plan is able to be amended by adoption by council throughout the year. Generally, we would not need to come to you with quite this many changes due to the caretaker period. We weren't able to present any proposed changes, so a few have been held over. So there's 4 tenders we're looking to remove from the contract plan, and there's 2 that we're looking to add. So that would mean that we were looking to go to market for both of those before the end of this financial year. I have added a little bit of extra justification based on some feedback I received of the initial report. So a further report with some changes was circulated yesterday. So I'm happy to take any questions that anyone has on this proposed amendment.
Thank you very much. Councillors, there will be a motion up on the board with regards to a attachment that has to be moved with regards to this report as well. But does any councillors have any questions? No? So at the moment on the board is a motion for the attachment to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bannon, followed by Councillor Wilcox. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Then we'll put up the motion on the board. This is the motion for the corporate procurement amendment to the annual contract plan for April 2024. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bannon, followed by Councillor Wilcox. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That's excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you. Michael, are you staying around? No?
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. We're moving on to item 6.5, which is the monthly financial performance report from, there's 2 reports. There's February and March for 2024. Over to you, Marg.
Thank you, Chair. Today I'll speak directly to the March report, given it's the most recent results. So noting that the adjustments from the second budget amendment are not reflected in this report, and the second amendment will be spoken to shortly. There have been some new risks identified in this report, being the funding of capital works program that, should it continue at the pace it is, we've just got to be mindful of how those funding arrangements are occurring and if that adequate funding is available. And the other is that insurance costs are expected to increase due to the recognition of additional assets and the evaluation of the current risk environment. So that one as well is not yet quantifiable. The report also notes that the CPI to December was 4.1%. The March CPI for Brisbane was recently released, and that was 3.4%. The operating surplus at the end of March is 26.2 million over budget year to date, and the result being 30.6 million surplus. Revenue is tracking above budget by 29.2 million, and the majority of this was driven by increased DA revenue, so development assessment revenue, private works from Logan Water, and the receipt of a couple of grants, namely REPA, which is Restoration of Public Assets, and the Logan Digital Infrastructure and Connectivity Program grant. Operating expenditure is ahead slightly against budget, and that's due to the water purchases and therefore the related revenue for bulk water, which is due to increased water consumption. The average return on QTC funds to date is 4.89%, so that's where the majority of our investments are currently sitting. And the February report details our capital projects, and the next update for that will be provided next month. Ready to take questions?
Councillors, is there any question? Councillor Lane.
So there's a couple of things that you mentioned in the report. An increase in money coming back from Logan Water. Is that loan repayment money or is that separate?
No, that's separate.
Okay, and the second thing is the increased water use, so the increased water charges. Can you tell me what those levels are? Quite simply, do we need to start undertaking educational programs on water use in residential?
A majority of that is the flow through of the bulk water purchases that council is making. So I would have to speak further with the Logan Water team to determine what exactly those increases are.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. Councillor Stem.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Through you. Just one item I'd want to get some clarity on. There was the city entry signage at Grandis Street, and I just wanted, in Tanamera, I just want to find out what, for the future, if you don't know, what that was done there, because I'm not sure it's possible.
I'll have to check on that one for you.
That's all right. Thank you.
Councillor Stemp, you're happy for that to be taken on notice, and Marg will come back to you. Councillor Bradley.
Thank you. Good morning. Afternoon, sorry. Through the chair, I did raise a couple of things yesterday at our agenda briefing. The Vanessa Boulevard reference on page 92. There's no works happening on Vanessa Boulevard, so I'm not sure why that is mentioned there. If that's possible to be removed from the report.
Yep, I think the comment in that space through the chair is that they're to commence in March. So I'm guessing that in the next report that we see is that they haven't progressed it as much. So the updated commentary will come through.
But there's no work going on. It's in Fitzgerald Avenue.
Okay, no worries. We'll update that. Thank you.
Thank you, Marg. I think Marg just mentioned that in the next report, so April, that will be adjusted.
Right. So
And Councillor Bradley, I'm sure that they'll follow up with you as well.
Can the admin team, though, change it? Yeah. Is that possible? Because it's not a true reflection.
Marg, I'm in your hands here. Can that be noted in the report?
Yes. Yeah.
Robert's just confirmed he'll note it in the minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Councillors, if there's no further questions, there is a motion on the board with regards to the monthly financial performance report for February and March 2024. Is there a mover for the motion? Councillor Stemp has moved. Councillor Wilcox has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you so much. Moving right along, we're going over the page to 6.2. 6.6, which is the sale of lands for overdue rates. I note that this is a confidential report, but councillors, we do not need to take it in unless you need to do further discussions. Does anybody wish? Is it confidential, council? Okay, ask the question, please, Councillor Wilcox.
Are there any properties that need to be removed off the list?
I'll ask my colleague Tamron to come and assist with that question. Tamron's our corporate accounting program leader.
There was a new report sent to all councillors. New attachment sent to councillors. Robert, do you want to speak to this?
Because we could, like, if we do, will they just say numbers and that's fine?
Can do. There was, so I think the original report, it is updated all the time. So the recoveries team are constantly working with the owners of these properties to ensure payments made in a timely manner. And that the work that they've done to date has resulted in a reduction since the report was drafted in the number of properties on the list. There was an updated confidential attachment circulated yesterday that saw the number reduced significantly. And that will need to be tabled today. However, if you wanted to specifically discuss that particular confidential attachment, we will need to go into confidential.
So, councillors, does anybody need to speak to that confidential report today? Excellent. So we're going to just take the report as being read. Councillors, is there anybody who'd like to move, firstly, the attachment that was circulated yesterday? Is up on the board. Can I get a mover? Councillor Bannon has moved it. Councillor Bradley has second. All those in favour of the attachment? Thank you. That has been passed unanimously. Then we'll have a motion up on the board with regards to the actual sale of the properties. Please take a moment. This should be the same as the recommendation in your report. Councillor, the sale of lands for overdue rates 2024 is up on the board. Do I have a mover for that motion? Councillor Bannon has moved the motion. Is there a seconder to the motion? Councillor St Ledger has seconded the motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously, noting that Mayor Raven is just out of the room at the present moment. Thank you very much. Okay, moving along is your last report, Marg, 6.7, the second budget amendment for 2023-2024. Over to you. This is a confidential report, but I'll let you speak if there's any public information that you can hand over. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeking to adopt the amended budget, including the amended capital program for 23-24. So this amendment resulted in an operating surplus of $16.18 million, which is up from the surplus at first amendment of $2.5 million. The revised position has been mostly driven by the receipt of grant funding from the Queensland Reconstructive Authority of $2.75 million, reassessment of depreciation, particularly in Logan Water, to align with their DCF methodology, and an increase in development assessment revenue from applications to reflect their growth, and that's $5.25 million. Legal costs have also been increased across the organisation to align with actual costs and funded from savings where possible. Also, in undertaking this amendment, branches have completed an assessment of project delivery and recognised projects that may not reach completion in 23-24, and these reprovisions would be added into the 24-25 budget at first amendment once the end of financial year position is clearly understood. One point to note is that we are yet to receive confirmation of what the financial assistance grant for this year will be, so that has not been reflected. No changes have been reflected in this report. Happy to take questions.
Thank you, councillors. If you have questions, just note that some questions may trigger the confidential side of this report. So is there any questions? Councillor Bradley and Councillor Head.
Thank you. Through the chair, just I suppose more FYI for councillors' benefit. So I did ask a question yesterday about on page 153, which is in the public domain, about the planning scheme, and would that trigger the public consultation for the community? And Marg might be able to answer that.
I think that's the next report, Councillor
Is it?
Bradley.
My apologies.
Sorry. Councillor Lane. Oh, sorry, Councillor Harrimeyer first and then Councillor Lane.
Oh, yes, we are. Sorry. Big pardon.
Councillor Harrimeyer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I've a point of clarification regarding page 2 and 3 of the report. I see that on page 2 it documents that there's been $701,000 in savings realised from employee costs, and on page 3 of the report it recognises that there's been an increase of $2.371 million in employee costs. Are those figures accurate regarding the increase in employee costs?
Yes. So the employee cost savings realised is through a process that we undertake as an organisation. So where we have got significant employee costs across branches or in individual branches, we ask them to give those up as savings. So that's what has been realised in this budget. And then a number of branches have also had to increase their employee costs to allow for their current activity.
So when we factor in those savings, which are good to identify and good to realise, and then we look at the increases in employee costs that were unexpected, does that mean we're resulting in a $1.67 million increase in employee costs above what we expected?
Correct.
Thank you.
Robert, you look like
So
you
just
need to say
to
something.
clarify something there, some of those costs in terms of development assessment activity, those employee cost overruns are compensated by an increase in revenue. So where fees and charges are a high level of activity, it's not uncommon to see employee costs go up. So in some cases there's compensating funding source for those overruns.
Councillor Lane, you had a question?
Apologies, Madam Chair, but my question is in relation to the confidential attachment, so I'd probably need to ask to go into confidential for 3 questions.
Councillors, before we do that, is there anybody else that wanted to ask any questions outside of confidential? So we will give Councillor Lane the opportunity to go into confidential. So I would suggest, Councillor Lane, you're happy to move us into confidential. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Sorry, we will need a seconder, sorry. Councillor Jackson has seconded the motion. All those in favour to go into confidential? Thank you, that has been carried. Bring back on, please. Thank you very much. So, we have an attachment first, don't we? No? Okay. We're going straight into the motion that is currently up on the board for the second budget amendment 2023-2024. Could I have a mover? Councillor Stemp has moved. Do I have a seconder? Mr. Mayor has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That has been carried unanimously. Excellent. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any general business for the finance manager stepping in for the moment? No, there being none. Do you have any for us?
No.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time today. You did a great job, Marg. Councillors, we'll move on now to 6.8, and I believe that Ms. Kay Sullivan, the Enterprise Portfolio Management Office Manager, will enter into discussions for the Q3 2023-24 operational plan. Ms. Kay, please enter into the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Item 6.8 is our Q3 update on our operational plan. I will take it as read and just highlight the following. We have 33 projects in our operational plan, and our health check for Q3 we're at 91%, my apologies, as completed and on track. The same time last year we were at 92%, so commensurate with last year. We have 3 completed projects, 27 on track and 3 under monitor. If I can just very quickly talk about the projects that are being monitored. The first one is the Logan Plan 2025. That is on monitor due to delays around the engagement with the state. So that is still on track to be delivered. We've just got delays from an engagement perspective. The other project that we had on monitor is the Capital Works program for water and wastewater. The advice that I've received there is that a number of the projects we've had some delays with regard to environmental improvements. Those projects will still be delivered. We will just need to reprovide budget into next year to deliver those projects. And the third project that is in monitor is our Community Champions project. So that project was looking at the viability with state funding around having a Community Champions project. The advice that I've received at the moment is that we won't be continuing with that project without state funding. It's not viable in its current state, so we'll be looking at other options to deliver that functionality. I'm happy to take any questions.
Councillor Bradley, did you still want to speak to that?
Yeah, sorry, my apologies, Kay. It was actually you who replied to my email, my query yesterday about the planning scheme and the public consultation. So my understanding it'll be early next year now, anticipated?
Through the Chair, you're correct, Councillor. So the public consultation was due to commence October to December of this year, but due to the delays in engagement that we currently have, it is likely to be early 2025.
Councillors, do we have any further questions? Okay, we do have a motion up on the board for the Q3 2023-24 operational plan. Do I have a mover for that? Councillor Bradley has moved. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Bannon, all those in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. That has been carried unanimously. Councillors, we'll move on to 6.9, which is the Service Review Progress Report, Phase 1 and 2 for the Plant Fleet Services branch. Ms Kay, would you like to enter into the discussions?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to note that we've got Tom here as the Manager for Plant Fleet Services as well. Item 6.9 is the interim report on our service review program. And what I just wanted to highlight for Plant Fleet is, based on the work done to date and following the methodology that we have, we've identified 10 service activities, 2 service groups and 1 service category. Out of the deliverables for Phase 1 and 2, we've documented those service activities, but also identified 147 opportunities for improvement. part of phase 3 and 4 will be to deliver and develop a roadmap based on those improvement activities. I just wanted to take this opportunity as well to acknowledge and thank Fleet for their engagement in this process, including the subject matter experts who contributed greatly to the work that's been done to date. Tom, did you want to add anything at all?
Just through the chair, fantastic journey that we've been on. 147 opportunities. Sounds like I'm doing a terrible job. I'm not. I can reassure everyone that we're not. Those opportunities can be, swept up. Some of those through the digital transformation program, Tech One and CIA improvements, digital forms, upskilling staff. So that's some of a bit of an overview of some of those improvements that have been identified.
Happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much, Kay. Councillors, is there any questions? No? Okay, there is a motion up on the board that the report titled Service Review Progress Report, Phase 1 and 2 of Plant Seeds Services branch be noted. Councillor Wilcox has moved it. Councillor Hall has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hands high. Wave them if you like. Thank you. That has been carried unanimously. Does anybody have any general business for Ms Sullivan today? Do you have any for us?
Nothing today.
Thank you very much. Have a great day. Thank you. Councillors, we move on to the last report that we have, which is item 6.10. I believe Mr Brett McGrath is going to be speaking to this. I do note that it is confidential, but do you have a public part to this report that you can speak to prior to going into confidential? No? Okay. I note that item 6.10 is a confidential report. A proposed resolution to move this matter is displayed on the screen. Do any councillors wish to move into a closed session? Councillor Lane has moved it. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Stemp has seconded. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Thank you. That has been carried unanimously. Thank you. Please be advised now that the meeting is now in a confidential session and therefore the live streaming of this meeting has been suspended. For the report, councillors have seen this motion while we've been in confidential. Is there a mover for this motion? Councillor Lane has moved it. Councillor Jackson has seconded it. All those in favour, please raise your hands. So, as we go around the room, can you please state how you voted? Councillor Bradley, noting the Mayor's not here. For, against, abstain.
I am against. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lane.
For.
Councillor Russell.
For.
Councillor St Ledger.
For.
Councillor Jackson.
For.
Councillor Hall.
For.
Councillor Fraser.
For.
Councillor Herrenmeyer.
For.
Councillor Bannon.
For.
Councillor Stemp. For. Councillor Wilcox.
Against.
Councillor Murphy is for. That has been carried. Thank you. Right, moving on. Does anybody have any general business for the corporate property manager? Councillor, is that no? That you nearly got a scare. Councillor Lane, yes.
I just want to say thank you to your team. When a problem comes up, you try and investigate the most number of options available, and it's really appreciated. It genuinely is, and don't always agree on the options, but it's always a good conversation. So thank you very much. You put a lot of work into the last report, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Lane. That was a really hard report, and it's a very emotional report that we were talking about. Brett, do you have any GB for us?
No, thanks.
Thank you very much. General business, I understand Councillor Stemp is busting to tell us about her general business item that she has already given to the corporate properties.
Thank
So
you.
if we can put the motion up, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I sent through an email on Monday regarding a GB item which the Director has assisted me with drafting in response to a question I raised during special budget meeting, asking for a review of the general rates and separate charges exemption and concession policies, and I've been advised that this motion would enable that review.
Thank you, Councillor Stemp. I take it you will be moving this motion. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Russell, all those in favour, please raise your hands. That is fantastic. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any GB for Robert today? Does any of you have any for us? Thank you very much. I note that's the end of the reports. We don't have any late reports. Councillors, that concludes today's agenda for today. I declare the governance meeting on the 14th of May concluded at 1:17 p.m. Thank you for your time today.